K. Shailaja Rao, soft skill trainer at Aditya Global Business School. And today I have a very interesting topic for all of you. It's grooming and etiquette. Okay, all of you, I'm sure, know what grooming is, but etiquette, some of you may be aware, not aware, doesn't matter. It's a good refreshment course for all of you as you're entering another phase of your life, that is into degree college, into college actually. So now you're all adults. From being children, you're going to adulthood, and this is the right time to understand what grooming is all about. How should we groom ourselves? What is etiquette and what is good etiquette? What is proper etiquette? So this will help us not only make a good impression, make a lasting impression, and at the same time, it will help us succeed in life. So let's look at first. I just want to bring to your attention the word etiquette, the way it is spelled. It is ETQUETTE, but the U and E doesn't come while pronouncing the word. It is not etiquette or it's not etiquette. It is simply pronounced as etiquette. Remember the spelling like ETIKET. That's all. So it's etiquette. So don't look at this words, because English is a funny language. The spelling that you write has more or less, some words have no connection to the phonetic sound. So etiquette is pronounced just as etiquette. So today we'll look at what is grooming and what is etiquette. Okay, creating an impression. Generally, why do we groom ourselves? First, for society, because you can't just come out the way you are at home, because what will people think? We live in a society. No man's an island. We live in a society, and when we live with other people in a society, whether it's at home, in college, in school, in the market, what happens is we have to adhere to some norms of, the general norms are you have to dress up, or at least wear some proper clothes while going out. You can't go out in whatever clothes you're wearing at home, right? When you're going shopping or for a movie, you do change, right? Why do you change? You're already wearing clothes, but you change. Why? Because you were going into society, and there is an impression that you make. So most of the grooming is done to make an impression, whether it's at home and college. And so you need to make a lasting impression, especially if you want to be successful, if you want to be remembered. So you need to make a lasting impression. By lasting, I don't mean you need to make a good impression. That is, people should, when they think of you, when they remember your name or think of you, they should think of you as a well-dressed person, as a neat person, neat and clean person, not a dirty ruffian who doesn't have a bath or comb his hair. So you don't want that type of a thought in somebody's head about you, right? So that's the reason it is you dress up and you create an impression. If you think that, oh, please wait, I just want to go back and make a different impression, that's not possible, because always the first impression will always be the best impression. So the act of grooming, as I was telling you, is to make yourself look nice, neat, and clean, and also style. What is style then? Grooming is just the act of being clean and neat and nice. Then what is style? I'm. People might say that, oh, I'm stylish, or I dress according to style. Then what is style? Style is generally, your style could be the way you dress, the way people think of you when they, so that is style. Style is not what some cinema hero does. Actually, we follow that style. Most of us, tend to follow. Most of you, I should say, tend to follow a style. If the Prabhas or a Mahesh, when the Prabhas made up his muscles, everybody started doing body and all that. So that's one kind of style. But style is generally what you show without having to speak. Okay, so where do we begin? Grooming. Where do we begin? When we get from bed, when we get out of bed, what are we looking at? we're looking at how which part of the personality is seen first. I'm sure it's the face, right? When you look at somebody, you look at the face. So what do you want to see? You want a clean, neatly trimmed person, right? So a face, especially for men, here I'm talking mostly about men. The next slide I would be talking about women. It should be clean shaven, without a beard or mustache. Generally, a mustache is okay in Indian standards, but beards, and you do not look professional if you have a beard. Uh, Due to some religious sentiments, today you're allowed to keep a beard, but even that is not advisable if you're working in college. Okay, and it should not be drooping or long sideburns, long hair. That's a strict no-no. Your teeth, I think this goes without saying that you have to have clean teeth and brush your teeth every day, twice a day, if it is as it is said, keeps the doctor away. And sideburns also short and not too long. So especially men, long hair is not advised, because hair above the collar. If you want to look professional, look business-like, your hair should be above the collar. Uh, so what does a well-groomed gentleman look like, or a gentleman? If you want to pass out as a gentleman, don't think a gentleman is only one who's seen in movies or something. When you want to come out, you want to be, addressed as that boy who dresses properly, that boy who, dresses cleanly or neatly. That's what you want to be known as, right? You don't want to be known as the fellow who looks very dirty, the fellow who's always comes with crumpled clothes, those whose laces are always hanging around. You don't want to be known like that, right? So a gentleman, when you dress up, you look like a gentleman, you behave like a gentleman, and you feel like a gentleman. So hair again. So it should be neatly cut. It should not go below the ears, and it should be above the collar line. Generally, a good haircut is what is recommended. If you want to look professional, if you want to look like, if you want to look like a good student, you should have your hair above your collar and always well combed. Today, it may be a fashion of not combing your hair, but not in college. It has to be well combed and frequently and kept in place, but not oily. We have this tendency to put on a lot of oil, but what happens is, when you make it too oily, it all drips onto your face, and then all the grime sticks onto it, and then you appear very unkempt, or not clean, or uh, practically very not properly groomed. So try to avoid too much oil, especially for a weather like us where we live in the coast. It's a little bit humid here. So try to avoid that, and always well groomed and well shampooed hair. Hands, even for men, it's a must that you keep your hands neat and clean. Regularly wash, especially now with Corona. We have to keep on washing our hands. The best way is washing hands more than sanitizer. The, the more you wash, the better it is for you. Keep your nails short, clean, and even and well trimmed, even length nails. And generally for boys and men, it is not advisable to have long nails. I see people here who have one long nail, which they even color sometimes. That is a strict no-no, especially if you're going for a professional uh, job, or for an interview, or going to attend meeting and all that. Having one nail, or which is long, especially boys with long nails, it shows their lack of cleanliness, lack of grooming. So nails should be about this size. And then personal hygiene. I don't think I have to tell you about this. I'm sure all of you have a bath every day. I hope so, even in winter, because we live in that kind of a weather where it's very humid, especially in the summer months. It gets very hot, and so having a bath is a strict. It is is mandatory. So especially when you come into village, you feel fresh, You look fresh. When you feel fresh, you look fresh. And then your mind is also fresh. So always have a bath before you come to college or school, whatever. Bath daily, use a deodorant to avoid body odor. Um, some people might have body odor, so try to use a deodorant if possible. And then use a mouthwash often and brush teeth twice a day. And visit a dentist. Wash your face quickly to appear fresh. And a good night's sleep adds to your good looks. So I know it is the age of cell phone where it's very tempting to look at every message that comes in, every beep that is heard, you have to instantly check. But then what is happening is you're losing out on a lot of good sleep, the REM sleep as it is known, which it only comes when you are into deep sleep, that rest that your body and mind require. So that is not happening. So try to avoid, switch off your cell phones if possible, and sleep. I'm sure you're not the prime ministers and presidents of some country that you have to answer immediately. You're not going to get any emergency calls. So please switch off those phones and have a good night's sleep. And offensive habits like picking teeth, nose, ears. You see children doing that. It sounds, especially if with the same hand you're going to touch some food or touch somebody or shake hands. So try avoid doing that. And sneezing or yawning without closing mouth. I've seen so many students they'll yawn nicely in the class without even trying to close their mouth. Sneezing, especially in Corona days. See, all these things were there from before. It's only that we have avoided doing it. That's the reason Corona has spread so much. So try closing your mouth when you sneeze. And the best way to do it, I believe, is with your, not even with your hands, but with your arm, because the cloth on your sleeve protects the thing from spreading. You're going to wash your shirt the next day or that day. So that's the best way to do it, I believe. Belching loudly. You know what belching is? After when you have a good meal, I'm sure you've seen your fathers and uncles do it. They give out a big sound. So that to do it in public is bad manners. So try avoid doing that, especially if you've gone to a restaurant or have a good meal somewhere. You do it, but try avoiding that. Okay. Continuously rearranging hair or clothes in guest contact areas. Don't try to continuously mid, meddle with your hair or clothes. I see students where they're asked to tuck in their shirt. Constantly they're putting their shirt in. The moment they see some faculty or somebody, they're pushing it in. But that's bad manners. You can't keep on dressing in front of someone. So try to be well dressed, well groomed at all times so that you don't have to constantly arrange your hair or your clothes. Eating with your mouth open and making a chewing noise while chewing food. This is again table. Never eat with your mouth open. You look at some movies, any of the English movies, and see how they eat. They chew, but not with their mouth open. And also, no noise should come. Even when you're handling cutlery, this could be a whole different class again, table manners and restaurant manners and these etiquette where how to chew, which fork to use, how to get up from a restaurant when you're going out for a phone call, how to answer your phone call, which side to sit, which home to speak to. All these things are also, there's a lot of information this, which probably if we have the time we'll do it one day, but try not to make any noise while chewing your food. Shoes. Once we've done with face, hair, hands, then we come to our feet. Shoes should be well repaired heel, in the sense that the heels should be proper, not bent or and match the belt to your shoes. Sometimes you don't know which color belt you should wear for certain trousers. It's not you should not worry about what trousers you're wearing. Match your shoes belt. You have to dress professionally in the business world. Your shoes and belt should match, and match the color of the socks to your trousers. See, the pants or the trousers and the socks should match. So it's not the socks and the shoes matching. It is the trousers and the socks, shoes and belt. And try avoid using white socks. White socks is only sort of sportswear. It is used in school and then when you're playing sports. But if you're wearing a business uniform or a business attire, try avoid using, um, or I wouldn't say try, avoid using white socks. Always wear the color of the socks which matches your trousers. Always have neatly tied laces, and socks should be clean and above the ankle. Now I know it's a fashion to wear those small ankle socks, but that's not the right thing to do. When you sit down, and the best judge of this should be yourself. When you sit down, especially boys or men, when they sit and cross their legs, the pant goes up, the trouser leg goes up a little bit, and then if your skin is seen between the sock and the trouser, that's not right. So the length of the sock should be such that no skin is visible on the feet when you cross your legs. And today you're wearing all those hip kind of short pants. See that there is no gap between the pant and the socks. So not small socks, but fairly medium sized long socks, not ones that you wear for football up to your knees, but a good sized ones. And jewelry. Men also know it's become fashion for boys also to wear jewelry. So restrict jewelry as much as possible. If when you're a student, you can do this when you go out or go for a wedding or go to a party, you can do whatever you like. But when you're coming to college, when you're in a professional setting, to be professional. That is, avoid jewelry, avoid boys should avoid chains and rings and all that. A watch, of course, you can wear, but earrings are not to be worn by men, and chains, if worn, should not be visible, and you can have one ring, not rings on all your fingers, that kind of a thing. Okay, now let's talk about women or ladies. So ladies is, if a woman is look should be considered well groomed, she should follow the following things. What is this? Hair should be open only it is above shoulder length. If you have long hair, you can't leave it open. You have to clip it up. So having long hair, you can go to a party like that, but not to college, not in a professional setting. You have to wear your hair. Uh, if it is very short, above shoulders only, you can leave it open, loose. It should be tied in a bun or put back cleanly, and hair accessories should be minimal, not too many flowers. You know, we have this habit of wearing flowers, which is a strict no if you're coming to college. No flowers, no body clips, and all that. A plait if you have a long hair. So these are the things, some of the things women should remember to do. Hair especially that should not fall on your face. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, woman, man. When you're in a professional setting, your hair should not be falling on your face or into your eyes. Day makeup, of course. Everybody, especially girls, use a little bit of makeup. A little bit. See, you know what I'm trying to say? A little bit is okay, but not too much makeup. Should be light, subtle, and carefully applied. Light to medium shades. Okay? Pinks and peaches is okay. To be used carefully, keeping in mind the weather. Again, we should dress according to the place we are in. Just because we like a hero, heroine, doing a lot of makeup, we can't do the same because they are doing it in Switzerland. They are singing that song in Switzerland where it's very cold. They can do anything, they can wear anything, but we can't in a humid weather. So we have to adhere to these conditions that we have and accordingly. Again, hands should be clean and well manicured. Manicured in the sense that they should be clean. Should see that the underside of the nails are also clean. And nails should be shaped with a light medium color, maybe a light application of nail polish. Extremely long nails or shiny nails, dark shades of nail polish, not necessarily good with in professional settings. Light colors, light pinks, mauves are okay, but not dark shades or no shiny stuff. If you're going for an interview, you can't have all those nail art done with long nails and go and show your nails. So that would probably, discredit you, or it would put you at a disadvantage. Shoes for women, shoes, chappals, whatever you call them, footwear. Footwear for women should be low heeled and appropriate with most clothes. Okay, sandals are better, and no Hawaii slippers or fancy slippers. Generally, we think that if we're going to college casual, we just want to be comfortable. Yeah, you can be comfortable, but not in Hawaii slippers or casual slippers. Preferably, if you're wearing your uniform, sandals could go very well with it, or open-toed or closed-toed shoes if you're wearing shoes. If you're wearing slacks, that is pants and shirt, closed toes. That's the norm. If you're wearing professionally, you should have toes closed. That's the way you should wear your shoes, women. And the heel should not be more than an inch or an inch and a half. Above two heels is a strict no-no. So heels also very less. First thing is you will not be comfortable in very high heel shoes for very long. Okay, and jewelry. As I spoke about boys, no jewelry to college, no jewelry to business attire, and even women, the minimal is the best. Okay, so earrings should not be huge earrings. It should not be more than a half inch in length or breadth or whatever. Not too many hanging, dangling things. So I know it could be the fashion. You can do it once you're home, but to college, try to be professional. And only a simple necklace or anklets, no nose ring and anklets to be worn. Nose ring thinks that is for everybody, both for men and women, for boys and girls, is dress should be ironed and clean. First thing is in the sense that you might say were wearing a clean dress, but you put it in the washing machine and it's gone round and it's all crumpled. Next morning you wear it to work or wear it to college. Do you think you look good at that? No. So try to iron your clothes before you come. That's the least you can do to make yourself look good and feel good. No gaudy colors. Of course, we have a uniform, so that's no problem. But if you're going for an interview or a professional setting, you're going to a bank to meet a manager, you're going for admission to college, see that you don't wear these gaudy colors while you're going. Try to act professional, preferably cotton dresses with no bling. Bling is all that chamak chamak that we have, especially in girls' wear today. We have those chimkeys and all sorts of things. So this should be avoided wherever possible if it is in a formal setting. Cosmetics must be natural and not heavy. No jeans or tight fitting clothes. Jeans is supposed to be very, very informal. It's very casual. So even if you're coming to admission to a college or going to meet a bank manager, you look more professional if you wear a casual pants or uh, you know formal pants rather than jeans. If you're going to meet somebody in the hierarchy, you meet for some professional work. So try avoid using jeans. So let's create an impression, and most importantly, wear a smile. A smile is not going to hurt anyone. In fact, you smile and somebody returns that smile back. So it's got a reciprocatory effect. So you smile at someone while you're walking, I'm sure you'll get a smile back. So smile, and it makes you look good too. So a smile is something. However you dress, if you're frowning, if you've got a serious look on your face, do you think you look good? Do you think the dress looks good? No, only when you smile. Okay, so now let's also look at body language. Body language is something um, we don't pay much attention to. But then, as this shows you, it's only 7% of the words that you speak are given importance. The rest, the tone, voice modulation, and body movements, face, arm, gestures, all this count to 93%. So it's not what I'm saying. It's probably you're watching more the way I'm standing, the way I'm shaking my hands, the smile or the body movements, the eye contact. That's what you're watching all the time, rather than what I'm saying. I'm sure you're listening to what I'm saying too, but there is a lot of focus on body language because body language is non-verbal communication. Your body communicates without even you saying a word. So how do we use this body language to communicate? Let's have a look. Like I said, three elements. How do we communicate? We speak words, any language, and then our body also speaks when we feel nice, when we want we see somebody, hello, how are you? So when I'm saying that, my face lights up, I have a smile, and my body is also welcoming the other person and inquiring their well-being. But I could say the same thing in a hello, how are you? So does that feel welcoming? Does it sound welcoming? No. Probably it's just a professional. How are you? So see the difference in body language. So that's what I'm talking about, and also the tone of voice. Voice tone is also what matters. If when you speak, if you smile and speak, that is carried over to the other person. So all these things, the postures, gestures, movements, expressions, eye contact, all these, communicate something to the other person. So you must remember that only 7% is verbal. Means the words I'm saying, you only listen to 7% of it. The rest is how I'm pausing, the pitch, the intonation, the fluency, the vocabulary, and non-verbal, all the body language that I'm using. All this is the rest. Eye contact. Eye contacts, especially face to face, eye contact is very important. Facial expressions, head positions, arms position, body angle. There when you talk to someone, if you're really good friends, you'll probably be sticking to each other, right? Generally when you see two people moving very closely, holding hands, two girls also or boys also, you know that they are very close friends. But if you see them walking at a distance, you realize, okay, they're friends, but they're casual friends, not so close. So the way the body movement also tells us what sort of a relationship exists between the two. Posture, hands, legs, distance, not too close, not too far. All these things tell us about body language. Posture. Oh, make sure that you're sitting in the correct posture, because this type of posture will surely affect you in the long run. You will have backaches and headaches and all sorts of things. So when you sit or when you stand, try to maintain good posture. When you stand, if your posture is erect, people will respect you for standing properly also. So generally, I see students standing on the close to the wall with their feet behind on the wall. That's a very wrong way to stand. You're not only disrespecting the college property, but you're also giving it a very casual look. So that should not be the way it is. You should respect yourself, respect college property or wherever, even if it's in a store somewhere. Your body language speaks a lot about your attitude. Then we will go to etiquette. As I was saying, we'll be learning about grooming and etiquette. What is etiquette? So let's see what is etiquette. Etiquette is politeness, the consideration, the thoughtfulness, the good manners and behavior. If you say good morning when you come to college or school, you say good morning to your teacher. That is etiquette. When you say please when you ask for something, that is etiquette. When you say thank you after you've got something, that is etiquette. When you get up in a bus and give your seat to an old lady, that is etiquette. When you help somebody who's having a huge bundle of books or something, when you help them to take those over, that is etiquette. Etiquette is good manners. It doesn't matter. It's only what you speak. It's your actions also. When you keep the door open for someone behind you, generally, tendency here is if there are these moving doors, we just go. We don't bother who's coming at the back. We'll just leave the door to close by itself, right? But if you knew what proper etiquette was, you would hold the door open for the person right behind you, because it would slam into his face. So that is etiquette. How many of you go to Spencer's or D-Mart or whatever, and you take a cart, you take it up to your car, and then you or your bike or whatever, and load everything and just leave it there? That's bad manners. That's not having etiquette. The etiquette would be to come and deposit it back, probably not at the aisle, but anyway closer to the wall, so that those people don't have too much work to do, or your cart or trolley will not hurt somebody, in while it's just rolling away. So small things matter. How many times have you opened the car door for someone to get in? It could be your mother, it could be a sister, it could be your uncle, anybody. Have you just helped them get into the car? No, probably not. You just stood watching. So, so these small things matter. They go a long way. Lift. When you get into a lift, you switch on the button, you see someone, you don't bother, he's coming, oh, he'll come in the next ride. You just go up. How many times have you held the lift door open so that somebody else could get in when there is space? If there's no space, that's fine. But when there is space, have you waited for a few seconds for somebody else to get in? That is etiquette. The small things. Going to fetch some. Have you asked anybody if they need something? Is good manners. Wishing somebody in the morning. Your faculty or your teachers. Have you wished them? Do you wish them good morning, good afternoon whenever you see them in the corridor or on the roads? No, because they don't teach you. You don't care. Or they taught you in the first seminar. Now they no longer do. But that's not right. Okay. So it's treating others the way you want to be treated. That is etiquette. So try to remember these things, and with thoughtfulness and courtesy. And it's being about being polite and, caring. Uh, it is also what we should do in different situations with different people. Okay, it is the rules that one should follow. We have certain norms in society. These norms may not be written anywhere, but still that's the norm, right? Like if we have these norms, like, if somebody comes and introduces us, we should not be sitting down. We should stand up and be introduced or introduce someone. Wishing somebody, smiling when somebody comes. All these things are small things. When somebody comes to your home, what do? You can offer them a glass of water, right? Did anybody tell you that you have to do it? Probably that's just good manners, right? And etiquette has been around for centuries. This is not something that's come up with just this century or last century. It has been there since ages. It was first written in the book in 2400 BC by Tao Te. Aotep is the name. So name of the it was a Chinese person, I think. So it was already, etiquette was mentioned 2400 BC, before Christ. Not it's not just 22,000 years old. It's more than that. So how did this word come about? How did the word etiquette come about? So it is believed to be derived from the French word uni etiquette, or ticket or placard. Etiquette in French means a ticket. Actually, it was first introduced in the reign of King Louis the 16th, or should I say 14th of France. Louis XIV of France, he was a French king. He was a person who was very well dressed. This is a small story here. He was very well dressed, and he wanted anybody who came into his court, into his domain, to be well dressed, to behave properly, and to smile, and to greet everyone, and to sit properly, professionally. And whenever there was something, that event like a dance, there was a way in which you could ask a lady to dance. Generally, they knelt down on one knee, put out their hand, asking for the lady's hand to dance. And then if the lady accepted, they would take her to dance. So there was a proper procedure for everything. So this was followed, especially in Louis XIV's reign in France. And that ticket was given only to those people who were good mannered. If you came into his court and you, or you didn't ask a lady properly, use the word etiquette. Actually, it was used in the sense that it is a ticket to get into court, to be polite, to have good manners, to behave well in court. And it was a behavior for every situation or action. Like I said, for dancing, if somebody wanted to speak, there's a way in which they could not just go and speak. There was a way in which they had to first tell somebody that they wanted to speak, and then they, after giving permission, they were allowed to speak. So all these things were followed, procedures were followed. That's where etiquette first started in the modern century. Okay, there are two types of etiquette. One is social etiquette and one is business etiquette. Etiquette is chivalry, where we actually show social etiquette even in our buses. In our buses, most transport buses and all that, what happens is these seats are reserved for women and for handicapped. So what are we trying to do? What is the government trying to do? It's actually following some etiquette. It is following some good manners and procedures, where some seats are reserved for people who cannot stand. So that is etiquette. So social etiquette is that, and chivalry in the sense, when somebody is in a hurry, you give them space, you let them pass forward. That is chivalry. When you leave, you hold the door open for someone to get into a car. That is chivalry. Have you noticed in movies and all that when a man invites a woman for lunch or dinner, they have a date or something like that. When she comes into the restaurant, he gets up and goes and pulls the chair for her, and then after she sits down, he tries to sort of adjust the chair for her. That is chivalry. That is a gentlemanly thing to do. That is what good manners are all about. And when somebody is leaving the table after dinner, even they stand up. The host also stands up for them to leave. Oh, how many times have you gone, some guest has come to your house. How many times have you gone to the door to see them off, or to the gate, or up to their car? You know what that is? That is etiquette. That is chivalry. You never thought about that, right? But that is chivalry. And business etiquette is more in practice today than ever before, because we're always having business meetings, and we are in a business world today. Everything is about business. So men and women are treated as peers. They're equal now. They're no longer when men treated differently. Women had to be treated delicately. That's no longer the case. In business, everybody is equal. Gender is no more an issue. And in social etiquette is still largely practiced. In social circumstances, like I told you, in social circumstances, if you invite a woman to a restaurant, you probably pull the chair for her to sit down. But if it's a business meeting, she's your equal. She'll pull her own chair and sit down. So there is a slight difference on how you behave. So etiquette is being considerate to others, treating the others the way you would be treated. You want to be treated, being on time. This is also one thing we all of us should practice. Never be late, be punctual, be on time. This is good manners, because it shows that you care for somebody else's time. So being on time is also etiquette. And not making personal remarks about someone, and using handkerchiefs when coughing. That is, even without COVID, you should be doing that. So do not make personal remarks about somebody's attire, somebody's looks, somebody's speech, whatever. That's bad manners. Uh, do not use the mobile phone when people are around, opening doors for others, giving compliments. How many times have you ever given a compliment to someone? You must have thought somebody looks good today, or somebody's wearing a nice dress, but have you actually complimented them and said, "Oh, you're wearing a nice dress. That's a good color"? No, because because we think it is not needed, but it is. Let me tell you, not interrupting while someone is talking, not talking to the person next to you while a presentation is on. So never, when a seminar or a presentation, when a meeting is going on, it's bad manners to talk to someone next to you. Even in a classroom, when the teacher is teaching you something, it's bad manners to talk to the other person next to you. That's what interrupts the class. It interrupts the whole atmosphere of the class. So try not to do that. You get used to it here, you'll get used to it everywhere. So much for today about etiquette and good manners and grooming and hygiene. I'm sure all these things most of you knew, but there's no harm in revisiting all those points once more so that you put your best foot forward when you come to college, because when you make an impression, it is going to be the first and the last impression. You can't change your impression. Once somebody's made up an impression about you, that remains in the brain for a long, long time. So try to make a very good impression, not for just for their sake, but for your sake as well. Because in in business, when in career, in life, good manners and etiquette and personal hygiene and grooming do matter. No matter what somebody says, but these things are very important in life. I'm sure you also like a neatly dressed person. Why are our film stars adored? Because they're well dressed all times. I'm sure they're not like that at home, but they look made up and ready to go every time. So we idolize them. So try to be well dressed and clean and neat wherever you are, whichever situation you are. Try to practice some etiquette. Say please and thank you. Be polite. Uh, wish everybody you see. Smile. Uh, Greet them. Say good morning, good afternoon, hello, and try to be chivalrous if possible, wherever possible. Try to help someone. It's all about caring. Okay. So in this way, you will not only be a good student, but you will be a successful person as well. Okay, good luck. See you in the next class.